every time I'd see that, I was like, dang, somebody really needs to invent this, what turned out to be the snap leash. Somebody really needs to invent this leash that's in my head. And I would say I had the idea for 4 years where I walked around New York City seeing dogs tied up outside of, venues, grocery stores, banks, post office, thinking someone should do that. And one day, 4 years later, I thought to myself, why not me? I'm a hairstylist. I have no idea about the hair industry, but why not me? Why can't I be the one who goes out and creates it? So, 4 years after the fact of thinking of the idea, I finally hire a patent attorney who does a patent search to make sure the invention's not, doesn't exist already. And we find out that through the patent search, which is, by the way, if you have a great idea and you think you want to pursue it, a patent search is very inexpensive. And the first step to, obviously, before dumping a bunch of money in a new invention that already has been invented, because you don't want to do that. So you do a patent search. At the time, it was, I think, $250. I think it's still under $500. I think it's relatively cheap. So it's been a while. I don't know how much the costs on patent searches have gone up, but nonetheless, it's very inexpensive. So, got a patent search, found out that the leash was not patented. Well, I was living in New York City where costs are higher, and at the time, we're going back a while ago, I then proceeded to hire a real estate attorney, and through a referral somehow, I hired one in Washington, D.C. I lived in New York City, but I hired one in Washington, D.C. And I think, if I remember correctly, it was about $10,000 to $15,000 to pay the patent attorney. But some of that cost actually goes to paying a fee to own a patent, right? So not all of it went to the attorney. You have to pay the government to own the rights of a patent. So it was about $10,000 to $15,000 of an investment. So I went through this whole process, patent pending, to patent, and basically I was informed because the patent process was so behind that I got into patent pending status, but was in patent pending status for 2 years before the patent was officially issued. 2 years later, I finally got the patent. However, you are allowed to move forward and progress and sell under patent pending status. So, was in patent pending status for 2 years, then 2 years later in the mail I got the certificate informing me that I am a full-fledged inventor and own the patent and the rights to the snap leash, right? And so, from there, basically, we went out and, I went out and started to try and figure out how to get this thing produced, how to get it made, met with all sorts of manufacturers, and from Brooklyn to Queens, and basically, just so you guys know, from the time that I officially hired an attorney to do a patent search to the time we finally had our first leash in hand to sell, took 14 years. 14! For me to say that, I can't believe that I even, stuck it through that whole entire marathon. Now, it wasn't like I worked on this 9 to 5 every single day for 14 years. If I had, then that would have probably been condensed into a lot shorter period of time. I was still a full-time hairstylist, working 5 days a week, 40, 50 hours a week as a hairstylist. So, it was only on nights and weekends that I had, or I should say designated extra time to try and keep pursuing this, dream of mine to take the snap leash into market, that I utilized. It was a very minimal time. And on top of that, I didn't even know the pet industry at all to even know what my next steps were, right? It wasn't like I could sit here and figure out, okay, now I know if somebody told me, hey, I want to open a salon, I could give you the roadmap to opening up a salon, but I had no roadmap to inventing a dog leash and bringing it to market. So it was a very slow process, a very long process, and again, you're doing this on a part-time level, but, the beautiful thing is that I didn't quit. And because I didn't quit, which would have been so easy to do because it just seemed like it was never going to happen, Today, we're selling worldwide. The Snap Leash is selling, thank goodness for the internet, we can sell worldwide, right? So we're fulfilling orders from different countries, from Australia to England to Canada, and all over the U.S. as well. So after 14 years of going through the pain and agony of learning how to invent a product, patent a product, have a product developed, have it made, then start the whole process of actually getting it out there, took a very long time.